Have you ever stopped to wonder about this strange world we live in? You know how everything you see, hear, feel, it's all built inside your head. Just a flicker of neurons firing away, painting reality on the canvas of your mind. The lights are out now and everything feels a little quieter. The day's noise fades into this stillness. You're lying here, maybe thinking about the day or drifting off already. And there's something I've been pondering lately, a question that feels both simple and immense. What if everything we see around us is just an illusion? You know, when you close your eyes at night, the world doesn't disappear, does it? The darkness has its own kind of depth and presence. There's something happening right there in that space. What if all we perceive is just our brain making sense of inputs, constructing the world from bits and pieces it receives? It's a thought that can feel both comforting and unsettling, like standing at the edge of something vast. And here's the thing, when you think about what we call reality, it starts to seem a bit more slippery. Is there anything truly out there beyond our brain's interpretation? But then, isn't that what makes everything so beautiful and strange? The colors we see, the sounds we hear, they're all part of this incredible construct that is somehow our own, yet feels like it's beyond us. Imagine for a moment that there's nothing out there but pure data, and your brain takes that and weaves the most incredible tapestry of experiences, emotions, and thoughts. It's like looking at a painting and not knowing if you're seeing the brush strokes or just the image. So tonight, as we drift into this darkness together, let's consider what it means to be conscious. To perceive is a wondrous act, and yet it makes us wonder if there's anything truly out there that isn't just our mind at work. Imagine lying here in the dark, everything quiet around you. You feel the weight of your body on the bed, maybe a slight chill in the air. It's easy to get lost in these simple sensations, isn't it? Just for now. And here's the thing, all of this, every single feeling and thought right now, it's created by your brain. It's kind of amazing when you think about it. Your mind is constantly building a world around you. Now think about this. What if everything we perceive, sounds, sights, even the feeling of cold, isn't actually out there in the real world? What if it's all just a construction inside our minds? There's something interesting here. It's like we're living inside this huge, complex story that our brains are writing every second of the day. And yet it feels so real to us. So you know what's strange? We take all of this for granted. The colors we see, the sounds that reach our ears, they seem like facts, but what if they're just how our brain interprets signals? Let's try a thought experiment. Imagine you wake up one morning and everything is in shades of gray. There are no colors at all, just grayscale images in your mind. It wouldn't feel strange because that's how the world looks to you now. But what if someone else sees colors and you don't know it? Can we ever really be sure of what others experience? You see, when we talk about reality, it's hard not to wonder whether there is anything truly out there beyond our own minds. It's like trying to grasp water. The more you try, the harder it seems. And here's another thing. How do we know that other people experience things in the same way? Maybe their colors are different from ours, but they call them red and blue just like us. So you're here with me now, drifting off to sleep, and I'm posing all these questions that don't have easy answers. But isn't it fascinating? What if we're each living in our own unique world? Last night we talked about how perception is like a veil, it's all your brain constructs. Tonight I want you to imagine something. Imagine a garden, lush and full of life, where colors can look different to others but feel the same to us. You know how we see red? Well, what if someone else sees it differently? Maybe their red is our blue or green. It sounds strange because the feeling of seeing that color remains unchanged for us. This thought experiment has a name. Some call it the inverted spectrum. The idea here is that we can never truly know how others perceive colors or anything, really, because our experience feels so personal and real. And here's the thing. Even if there's an objective reality out there, we might never be able to fully grasp it. It's like trying to describe a taste or smell you've experienced to someone who hasn't tasted or smelled it before. You know how some people say the sky is blue, but they might not be seeing the exact same shade of blue as you? It's a bit like that. Our perceptions are just different shades of experience. So how do we know if our garden looks the same to everyone else who walks through it? We can't really. It's a bit unsettling when you think about it, but also strangely beautiful in its mystery. It makes me wonder if there's something beyond our perception, like an invisible layer of reality that we can't touch or see. But then again, how do you know what you don't know? We're all just guessing at the colors in our garden. It's like a secret code that we can never fully crack. And even if we could, would it change anything? Would it make us see differently? What if all of reality is just a series of these personal codes, each one unique and yet, in some way, shared with everyone else? How do we reconcile that with the idea of an objective world? It's like living in a dream where you think everything is real, but there's always this nagging doubt. Could it all just be in your head? It's a thought that can keep you up at night, isn't it? Now think about this. If reality is constructed by our brain, then what does it mean to say something exists outside of us? Does existence only matter if we can perceive it? And here's a strange thought. If perception is just the brain making sense of the world, does that mean there's no real garden? No actual colors or shapes beyond what our minds construct? There's something deeply comforting in this idea too. It's like we're all part of a great cosmic illusion, and somehow that makes us connected on some level. But then again, the weight of it all can be heavy. If everything is just an experience in our mind, does anything really matter? Does any action have meaning beyond what we give it? You know how sometimes you wake up from a dream and try to grasp hold of the feeling, but it slips away like water through your fingers. It's kind of like that with reality, we can't hold on to it. And yet here we are trying to understand, trying to see if there's some way out of this labyrinth of perception. If only we could step outside and look in, what would that even mean? Is it possible that the nature of reality is something we can never fully comprehend? Maybe our minds are just too limited to grasp it all. But then again, isn't trying the point? What if this exploration itself is what makes life worth living, even if we never find an answer? That's a thought that can keep us going, don't you think? You remember how in the last chapter we talked about the Garden of Colors, the idea that what you see as red might be seen differently by someone else but feels identical to them. Well, let's take this one step further. What if I told you that sometimes our perceptions don't even match up with what's really out there? What if the colors we see aren't always a true reflection of reality? This is where illusions and hallucinations come in. Imagine seeing something that isn't actually there or perceiving things in ways they don't exist. You know how sometimes you see a shadow moving out of the corner of your eye, but when you look directly at it, it's gone. That's an illusion. And hallucinations are even more interesting. They can be so vivid that they feel like real perceptions. You could see a pattern on the wall that isn't there or hear voices without anyone speaking. These illusions and hallucinations challenge our idea of what reality is. They show us that sometimes our perceptions can be deceiving, even when we're confident they're real. This leads to a really interesting question. If our perceptions can diverge from what's actually out there, how much trust should we put in them? Imagine you're looking at a painting. You see colors and shapes and forms that seem to exist right there on the canvas. But what if those colors, those forms, are just an illusion? What if they're not really there, but your brain is making them up? It's like the painting isn't real, it's a construct of your mind. You see something that isn't actually there, and you can't tell the difference. Now think about this on a bigger scale. What if everything we perceive is like that painting, a construct of our mind, an illusion? This is the argument from illusion, the idea that because our perceptions can be wrong or deceiving, they might not tell us what's truly real. It's as if you're in a room where everything is an illusion. You see chairs and tables and walls, but they might just be your brain creating these things out of thin air. And this brings us back to the garden of colors. If we can't trust our perceptions, how do we know what others are seeing? Maybe they're seeing a different garden altogether, one that's just as real or unreal to them as ours is to us. This uncertainty, this doubt about what's really there and what isn't, it makes you think. It feels like we're on a journey of discovery, but also one of loss, losing the certainty that our perceptions are true. And yet, there's something beautiful in this too. The idea that reality might be more complex than we think can open up a whole new world of understanding and curiosity. The question now is, if our perceptions are unreliable, what does this say about the nature of reality itself? You know what I've been thinking about? The idea that our perceptions might just be representations, not direct access to reality. Like we're looking at a screen of sorts where everything is rendered in our mind. Think back to the garden and those colors that shifted so strangely between us. What if all we ever see are shadows on a cave wall? This idea is called representationalism, and it suggests that our perceptions aren't direct glimpses of the world but copies, like reflections in a mirror. So what if all we ever perceive are these representations? What does that say about reality itself? Imagine you're looking at a painting, but the painter is always changing it just as you look away and then back again. Is there ever any stability to what we see? The deeper I think about this, the more I wonder if everything we know could be a mere shadow of something beyond our grasp. It's like being in a dream and knowing it but still not being able to control it fully. We're observers trapped inside our own minds, looking out through the lens of perception. In a way, we're all in our own little worlds constructed from within. What's real for you might not be the same as what's real for me. This is where it gets really interesting. If everything we see and feel is just a representation, then how can we ever know the true nature of reality? There's something beautiful about not knowing for sure. It leaves room for endless exploration and wonder. So we've been thinking about representations and mirrors of reality. Now let's dive a bit deeper into what makes an experience real, you know. We're talking qualia, the raw, subjective quality of our experiences. Imagine the taste of your favorite food. You can't describe it exactly, right? It's not just a combination of words or chemicals. That's qualia, that ineffable quality that's personal and untranslatable. And here's the thing, how do we know if you're experiencing exactly the same taste as me when we say apple? We can't share qualia. It's a mystery, really. The smell of rain on dry earth, or the sound of your grandmother's laughter. These are things that exist in their own unique way inside you. You can't just take them out and show someone. So if qualia is so central to our experiences, yet it's not something we can really share or describe, what does this mean for how we understand reality? It's like trying to paint the essence of love with words. You can get close, but there's always something left unsaid. And so we wonder, if language and description have their limits in expressing qualia, does this mean that our understanding of reality itself is also limited? It's a bit like standing on the edge of a cliff at night. You know there's something vast beyond what you can see, but it remains hidden. In a way, our experiences are like those stars we can't reach. We can look up and marvel at them, but they're out of our grasp. So what does this mean for us? Can we ever truly know reality if it's always just beyond the reach of our words? You remember how we talked about qualia and how each experience feels so unique and personal? That's where things get really interesting. Imagine if everything you see is just a brain-generated illusion. What would that mean for reality? Well, here's the thing, even if our perceptions are illusions, there could still be something deeper. something beyond what we can see or feel directly. Think about it like this. When you look up at the stars, do you think they're just flickering lights in your brain? Or is there a vast universe out there that's more than just an image on our mental screen? And what if the universe itself is not just made of atoms and forces, but also something we can't fully grasp? Something ineffable like qualia. So could it be that even though your perceptions are constructed in the brain, there's still an underlying reality that shapes them? A reality you can't see but somehow feel. This is where things get a bit mystical. The idea of something beyond our perceptions feels like diving into the ocean and realizing there's so much more than just the surface. Imagine you're looking at a painting, but instead of just seeing colors and shapes on a canvas, there are layers upon layers that tell a deeper story. That's what reality might be like, far richer than our perceptions. And here's the strange part. If we can't fully capture these experiences in words or thoughts, does that mean they're even more mysterious and vast? So you see, there's a whole world out there beyond the veil of our perceptions. A place where things are as real as your feelings, but as elusive as dreams. Now think about this. How much of what we experience is really just a whisper from the universe? How much do our brains interpret and reconstruct? What if your brain creates these illusions to help you navigate life, but it also leaves clues about something greater, like shadows hinting at the forms beyond them? And what do those whispers mean for our understanding of reality? Are they just echoes in an empty hall, or are they trying to tell us something profound? You know, it's like standing in the dark and hearing a faint melody. You can't see where it comes from, but you feel its presence deeply. Now imagine if your perceptions are just shadows of that melody. What does that say about the real thing? Is there a reality beyond the shadow? So here's what we're left with. Even though our experiences might be illusions, they hint at something bigger, something that's just out of reach. You remember how we talked about perceptions being a veil over reality? Well, now let's think about what happens when that veil thins or even lifts slightly. What do you see then? When the eyes close and darkness takes over, there's still something going on inside, isn't there? There are still thoughts swirling around in your head. Imagine being in a dark room with no external stimuli. What do you notice then? Do the sounds of your own breathing become louder? Does the warmth or coldness of the air around you become more pronounced? There's an intensity to these internal experiences that can be almost overwhelming sometimes. So here's a question. When the eyes are closed and everything fades into darkness, does perception stop completely? Or is there still some form of internal experience going on? What if this internal world isn't just an illusion, but a different layer of reality? You know, it's like diving deep into the ocean where all sounds and colors fade away. But there's still something there, a pressure, a sensation, a quiet world. And in this dark space, we might find that even though our senses are silent, the mind is anything but. There's a depth to these moments of darkness where something else emerges. It's as if you're not just in a void, but in another dimension entirely. And it makes us wonder what this silence is telling us about the nature of perception and reality itself. What if there's a truth hidden in these moments? Something that we can't grasp with our eyes open, but only when all other senses are quiet. In the darkness, the mind takes over and creates its own world. It's almost like there are two worlds, one we see with our eyes open and another that exists in the spaces between thoughts. Now think about this for a moment. How does this internal world relate to the external reality we perceive? Is one more real than the other? Are they just different facets of the same thing? There's a certain weight to these thoughts, isn't there? It feels like we're peeling back another layer. What if all this talk about perception and reality is just the beginning? The mind is a curious thing, always trying to make sense of what it can't see or touch. And yet, in the quiet darkness, something else becomes clearer. The mind itself might be our best guide through these questions. We're always so caught up in what we see and hear that we forget about this quieter world within us. Sometimes it feels like the only way to truly understand anything is by closing our eyes and listening to the silence. There's a beauty in these moments of introspection that we often overlook. It's almost as if there's more going on than meets the eye. And here's where it gets really interesting. What if this internal reality is just as real or even more so than what we see in the light? What are your thoughts on that? Does this quiet world of yours seem like another layer of reality? It's strange, isn't it? How much we take for granted the experiences that happen when the eyes are closed. In this darkness, we might be peering into another dimension of reality. And what's beyond that? The more you think about it, the less clear the boundaries become between internal and external realities. Could it be that our perceptions are just one facet of a much larger picture? And so, as you drift off into this darkness, let these thoughts wash over you. There's something out there beyond the veil of perception. What if it's not just an illusion, but a deeper reality we can't yet fully understand? In closing your eyes, you might be opening up to another way of experiencing the world. Last night we pondered what remains when our eyes are closed, and how perception might continue in darkness or fade away entirely. Tonight, let's weave another thread into this tapestry of thoughts. Imagine the mind as a loom, where each strand represents a different sensory input: sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell. These threads come together to create the fabric we call reality. And here's the thing, what if these threads are not just random, but part of a larger pattern? What if our brain is not merely constructing illusions, but hinting at something deeper? Consider this: when you hear the rustle of leaves in the wind, there's something real about that experience. It's more than just a sound, it's a connection to nature. Now think about how we can communicate certain experiences with others. We might not share the exact same qualia, but there are common threads that bind our understanding together. For example, when you tell someone about a beautiful sunset or the taste of your favorite food, something of that experience resonates with them. There's a shared thread in our tapestry. But what if there are threads we can't share? What if some experiences, those deep personal qualia, exist in isolation, like a hidden color no one else sees? It's as if our mind is reaching out with these threads, trying to connect the internal and external worlds. But some strands stay tangled within us, unspoken. The question that lingers now is whether these unshared experiences hint at something beyond our current understanding, a greater reality we can only sense through fragments. You know what's strange? How we can perceive so much, yet there are still vast spaces within us that remain unexplored. Spaces where the threads of our experience don't connect with others. And here's a thought. What if the act of trying to articulate these experiences, even though it can never fully capture them, is itself an attempt to bridge this gap? It's like we're weaving with one hand and unweaving with the other. We create threads of understanding only to realize they can never fully capture what lies beyond our reach. So let's sit here in this darkness for a moment and consider how much we don't know. How much of reality might be woven into the very fabric of our being, yet hidden from view? Do you ever wonder if there's a way to unravel these threads and see what they reveal about an underlying truth? Something that transcends the boundaries of individual perception. Maybe, just maybe, in the quiet moments before sleep, we catch a glimpse of something beyond. A glimmer from another thread, perhaps. You know what's strange? When we think about perception and reality, it's like we're stuck between two worlds, one that we can see and touch, and another hidden layer beneath it. Last time we talked about how our perceptions are woven together like threads in a fabric. Now let's go back to the inverted spectrum. Imagine if you and I were in different rooms with identical setups but completely opposite color experiences. To me, what looks green is red to you. It seems like we're living in two separate realities, right? But here's the thing, if our perceptions are just brain-generated illusions, how do they align with an objective world? Is it possible that there is a duality at play here, where we're both experiencing reality through a lens that shapes our perception? Let's think about this for a moment. What if the world out there actually has no colors as such, and what we see is just how our brains decode light? It's like the world is in grayscale, but your brain paints it. Now that's a bit mind-bending. And yet, it could mean there are two layers of reality, the objective layer and our subjective experience of it. Does this duality hint at something deeper? So here's a question. What if these illusions we're experiencing are just whispers from a greater truth? Could our perceptions be windows, albeit distorted ones, into an objective reality? You know how when you look through a stained glass window, the colors are vibrant and beautiful, but also completely different from what's outside? Maybe our perceptions are like that, they add color to an otherwise monochrome existence. But if this is true, then how do we ever really know the world as it truly is? If we're just decoding reality through a personal filter, does that mean there's no way to strip away our perceptions and see what's actually out there? And here's the thing, if there is an objective world out there, how do we reconcile it with the subjective experiences that are so vivid to us? Can our perceptions ever be more than just illusions? It's like trying to describe a taste or smell to someone who's never experienced it. The words fall short, don't they? And so do our perceptions when we try to strip them down to their essence. In a way, maybe the only reality that truly matters is the one we experience. The personal perception you and I have, that's our truth. But still, there's something in us that wonders if it all hints at more. And so, as you drift off into sleep tonight, consider this. Are your perceptions just illusions, or do they hint at a deeper reality? And how much of what we perceive is truly real? Well, let's pick up where we left off last night, when we talked about duality and how our perceptions might hint at something beyond. And here's the thing, tonight, I want to explore what happens in between those moments of perception. You know, sometimes you close your eyes and the world falls away. But then there's something lingering, a whisper of what was once seen or felt. It's like echoes in consciousness. And these echoes aren't just memories. They're sensations that persist even when the initial experience has passed. So if our perceptions are like threads woven into a fabric of reality, what happens to those threads when you close your eyes? Do they unravel or do they hang there in the air? You know, it's almost as if these echoes form their own kind of reality, a shadow world that exists between our perceptions. Imagine that you're standing in a forest. The trees are tall and the light filters through the leaves. You hear birdsong and feel the breeze on your skin. Now close your eyes. What remains? There's still something there, isn't there? A sense of space, a memory of sound. These echoes linger like whispers in the dark. And what if these whispers are more than just remnants of perception? What if they hint at something deeper, beyond our everyday experiences? So here's a thought. Are these echoes just the fading tail end of what we perceived, or are they windows into something more permanent, perhaps even timeless? And if that's true, then our perceptions might not be illusions after all. They could be like light through a prism, fragmenting into a spectrum of reality. As we continue our journey tonight, let's think back on the idea of echoes within consciousness. Remember how memories and sensations linger beyond their immediate perception? Well, now I want to dive into something different. What exists outside what we can perceive? Imagine if our senses were like a spectrum of light. There's so much more beyond visible light, right? Infrared and ultraviolet, for instance, are there but invisible to us. So what about reality? Is it possible that there are things out there we can't perceive? And here's the thing, our brain constructs this reality based on what little information it gets from these senses. So much of what could be is hidden just beyond where our eyes and ears can reach. Think about bats, how they use echolocation to see in the dark. What if there's a whole world out there that we're simply not equipped to detect? It feels like we're missing something big. But you know what's strange? Even though we can't see or hear beyond certain limits doesn't mean they're not there. And if these things are out there, how does that change our understanding of reality? It's almost like the brain is a filter, letting in only so much and keeping the rest at bay. So what does it mean when we talk about objective reality? Is there even such a thing if we can't experience all of it? It's like trying to describe an entire room by touching just one corner. You get a sense, but you're missing the whole picture. And here's another thought. What if our perceptions are like shadows on a wall? Shadows that hint at something real behind them, but we can't ever truly grasp it. It's an unsettling idea, isn't it? We think of our perceptions as reality, but what if they're just a part of something much bigger and more complex that we can't even begin to imagine? Well, this brings us back to Qualia, those subjective experiences that are unique to each person. How do these fit into a larger reality? Can they hint at something beyond our perceptions? Maybe it's like a painting where the colors blend seamlessly, but there are layers beneath that we can't see. Layers that influence how the surface looks. So what do you think? Are our perceptions just illusions, or could they be pointing towards a deeper truth? It's something to ponder as we drift off into sleep tonight. Well, we've been exploring how our perceptions might just be illusions, hinting at a deeper reality beyond what we can see. But there's something more to consider now. Imagine for a moment that waking life is like dreaming. Not exactly the same, but you know how dreams feel real while they're happening. And here's the thing. When we dream, the world inside our minds feels as real and tangible as anything in waking life. So what makes waking reality so different from a dream? Is it just that we're awake? Or is there something deeper, some underlying truth that both waking life and dreams are trying to tell us? What if waking reality is like a dream within a greater reality, and we're just perceiving the surface? You know how in dreams, things can be surreal and illogical, yet still feel real to us. And waking life feels logical and consistent because our minds are used to it. But what if that's just another kind of illusion? What if the consistency we see in reality is a construct, like the rules of a dream? It's almost as if our minds create these rules to make sense of what we perceive. And here's something interesting. Both dreams and waking life are experiences created by the mind. The only difference is the content. So if our minds can create such vivid illusions in dreams, what does that say about the reality we experience when awake? You know how sometimes you wake up from a dream and think to yourself, was that real? Well, could the same question apply to waking life? Could we be in another kind of dream? Now think about this. If dreams and reality are both experiences created by our minds, what does that say about consciousness itself? Could it be that the nature of consciousness is to create these illusions, whether we're dreaming or awake? And if so, what are we really experiencing when we're not dreaming? Is there a difference between the two states at all? There's something strange about how our minds can create such vivid experiences, whether it's dreams or waking life. Could the very act of perception be an illusion created by consciousness? It's almost as if our minds are like artists, painting the canvas of reality with every thought and sensation. And just as a dream can feel so real that you forget it's not, could waking life be an equally vivid illusion? What if the consistency we see in reality is just another layer of illusion, something our minds impose to make sense of things. In dreams, we can experience things that are impossible in waking life, and yet they feel real. So what makes the consistency of waking reality any more real than a dream? Is there something deeper we're missing, some truth hidden beneath these illusions? You know how dreams can feel like they're trying to tell us something? Could waking reality be the same? What if our perceptions, whether in dreams or waking life, are just different ways of experiencing a greater truth? So here's the question: is there really any difference between dreaming and being awake? Or are they both just different expressions of consciousness? And if waking life is a kind of dream, what does that say about the nature of reality itself? Could it be that our minds are just creating these experiences to make sense of something deeper we can't see? Think about how in dreams, things can feel so real even though they're not. What if the same thing is true for waking reality? Could it be that we're just perceiving a surface illusion? Is there something deeper hidden beneath these illusions, some greater truth we can't perceive? And if so, could the consistency of reality be just another illusion created by our minds? Here's a question: do we really experience anything at all in waking life? Or are we just experiencing an illusion created by consciousness? Could it be that the very act of perception is itself an illusion, one that our minds create to make sense of things? And if waking reality is a kind of dream, what does that say about the nature of consciousness and the truth it perceives? Is there any difference between dreaming and being awake? Or are they both just different expressions of a deeper reality we can't see? What if the consistency we see in waking life is just another illusion, something our minds create to make sense of things? Is there a deeper truth hidden beneath these illusions? And if so, what does that say about the nature of reality itself? Think about how dreams can feel like they're trying to tell us something. Could waking reality be doing the same thing? Could our perceptions, whether in dreams or waking life, be just different ways of experiencing a deeper truth we can't see? So here's the question: are there really any differences between dreaming and being awake? Or are they both just different expressions of consciousness? If waking life is a kind of dream, what does that say about reality itself? Is it all just an illusion created by our minds? What if the consistency we see in waking life is just another layer of illusion, something our minds impose to make sense of things? Could it be that our perceptions are like paintings on a wall, beautiful and vivid, but still just illusions created by the mind? So here's what we're left with: if waking life is an illusion, what is reality truly like? Let's think back on the echoes of past experiences we talked about in Chapter 10. You know how memories linger, like faint whispers in a quiet room. And here's the thing: those echoes aren't just from yesterday or last week. They're from every moment we've ever lived. Imagine each experience as a ripple in consciousness, spreading out and merging with others over time. You know what's strange? We can't always recall specific moments clearly, but the feeling of them stays with us. There's something interesting here about qualia, those subjective experiences that are so hard to put into words. Qualia from the past, well, they sort of seep through time, influencing how we perceive things now. Take a moment to think about your earliest memories. The warmth of the sun, the taste of something sweet. Do those feelings still resonate with you? Now here's a question: how much of what we perceive now is influenced by these echoes from our past? In a way, you might say that the fabric of reality is woven with threads from both current and past perceptions. It's like an old tapestry where each thread represents an experience. Some are bright, others faded, but they all contribute to the overall pattern. There's something melancholic about this too. Our memories can be both comforting and bittersweet at times, right? Every experience leaves a mark on consciousness, creating layers that accumulate over time. So as we weave through this journey of perception and qualia, it's important to consider how the past shapes our present understanding. And here's a thought: if each experience is like a drop in a pond, the ripples we see are just a part of the larger wave that continues to move through us. This raises another question: how much does our current perception depend on these past echoes? As we've talked about before, our perceptions are woven from threads of past experiences and echoes of consciousness. It's like there's a whole layer beneath what we see every day, shaping how we perceive reality. Imagine the subconscious as an unseen current guiding us through our waking hours without us even realizing it. It's like there are whispers in the background, soft and constant, affecting how we see things. You know what I mean? We're not just seeing with our eyes, there's a lot more going on beneath the surface. It's as if every perception has layers and we only catch glimpses of those deeper levels. And here's the thing: these subconscious influences might be just as real, maybe even more so than what our eyes show us. They're like shadows on a wall that we can't quite see but still affect how we feel and think. It's almost like there are parts of reality that exist just beyond our reach, hinting at something more. And yet, these hints come to us through whispers in the dark, subtle but persistent. Now think about this: how much of what you perceive is influenced by things you're not even aware of? Are there hidden currents beneath your conscious thoughts guiding how you see the world? There's something strange here, isn't it? We live our lives thinking we know what's real and what isn't, but there are layers beneath that we can barely touch or understand. And so, when you close your eyes, do these subconscious influences fade away? Or do they continue to shape how you perceive reality in the dark? You remember how we talked about illusions before? Well, they're like a labyrinth through which our perceptions are shaped, aren't they? Just like in that dark room of perception where you questioned what remains when the eyes are closed. Illusions show us how easily we can be misled by our own mind. They're a bit like echoes, persisting in our consciousness even after they've faded from sight. Imagine you're walking through this labyrinth of illusions, and every turn reveals something about your own mind. It's a strange place where what seems real can suddenly shift into the unreal. It's like stepping onto shifting sands. One moment you're standing on solid ground, and the next, it feels as though you're sinking. That's how our perceptions can be. Now think about those memories, those echoes in the void. They are illusions too, right? Just reflections of past experiences that shape your current perception. The mind is a tricky thing. It creates these illusions, these echoes, and they become part of our reality, even when we know they're not real in the strictest sense. It's almost as if there's a deeper layer to all this, something just beyond what we can see and feel. Like the unseen spectrum, where our senses hint at more than they reveal. So, are these illusions windows into deeper truths or just a play of light and shadow? That's something to ponder as you lie here in the dark. What if everything we perceive is like a dream within reality itself, where our mind creates its own version of what's real? There's something profound here, how the subconscious influences shape our perceptions. It's almost as though there are hidden currents beneath conscious thoughts guiding us through this labyrinth. Do you ever wonder what remains unseen within your own mind? There's a lot we don't know about the subconscious and its role in perception. It's like there are threads woven into the fabric of our reality, some visible to us, others hidden. These unseen threads shape how we perceive the world around us. And here's the thing: do subconscious influences fade away when we sleep? Or do they persist in dreams, shaping our perceptions even then? The question of whether reality exists beyond our mind's construction keeps coming back to me. It's like a puzzle with pieces just out of reach. Qualia, these subjective experiences that are hard to put into words, hint at something deeper within us, an experience beyond what we can see and touch. The unseen spectrum of our senses reminds me how much remains unexplored. There's so much more to reality than meets the eye, isn't there? Do illusions then hint at deeper truths, or are they just distractions? That's a question that lingers like an echo in the mind. So much of what we perceive is illusion, echoes of past experiences, subconscious influences guiding us through reality's labyrinth. In a way, it's comforting to think that there might be layers beyond our perception, hidden from view, but perhaps more real than what we can see. There are so many questions left hanging here. It's almost as if every answer leads to another question about the nature of reality and perception. You remember how in previous chapters we've talked about illusions and perceptions. Well, now let's think about what happens when there's no illusion or perception at all. What do you find in the silence? It's like stepping into a quiet room after a noisy day. At first, it feels strange, even a little unsettling. But then you start to notice things you didn't before, the ticking of the clock, your own breathing. The silence can be so loud sometimes, and in that loudness there's a whisper, a quiet voice telling you something about yourself and the world around you. Imagine being in total darkness. Now imagine closing your eyes. The absence of light can be as revealing as its presence. What do you see then? You might think nothing, but there's something there, isn't there? A sense of yourself in the space, your body taking up room, your breath moving through it. It's as if the darkness and silence are like a canvas. They give you a chance to paint with what's inside you, your memories, fears, desires, and they do that without words. It's almost as if the silence is more than just an absence. It's a presence in its own way, a form of reality we often overlook. And here's where it gets really interesting, because what happens when you're not thinking? What is left? Do we find the truth in silence, or do our minds just fill it up with noise anyway? Let's take a moment and think about what you're experiencing right now. Can you hear your thoughts, or is there an absence too? Silence can be so profound. It's almost as if our perceptions are a constant hum in the background of our consciousness. And when that hum quiets down, we start to hear what's always been there. Do you ever feel like the moments of quiet reveal more about who you are than all the noise? So what do we take from silence? Does it give us a glimpse into reality beyond our perceptions, or is it just another layer of illusion? And here's the question that lingers. How much of what we perceive as silence is actually still part of our constructed reality? Is there a deeper silence beyond even that? You know what's strange? When we close our eyes at night, it's like we're folding a tapestry, but instead of ending, each fold reveals new threads. And these threads, they're like memories and dreams intertwined with the fabric of reality. And here's the thing, every moment we live is stitched into this tapestry. Each sensation, each thought, becomes part of a larger pattern that weaves through time. Now think about this, how do these threads connect? What does it mean when the fabric shifts and changes over years? In a way, our experiences are like water flowing through a river. Each drop is part of the stream, yet moves individually, creating ripples that blend with others. These ripples are echoes of our past selves, each one influencing how we perceive the present and shape our future. What if the tapestry itself isn't just a passive record but an active creator? Could it be that every moment of perception is part of a larger creative process? Imagine you're painting. Every brush stroke changes the canvas, and each change alters how you see what comes next. In some ways, this is like our perception. It's not just a mirror of reality, but an active construction that shapes and reshapes itself with every moment. And so, we're creators in the act of perceiving. Each thought and sensation is a brush stroke on this vast canvas. So here's what I'm thinking. Are our perceptions just illusions that create an illusion, or do they hint at something deeper? And if it's the latter, a hint of something deeper, how much of this fabric is woven by forces we don't even perceive? How much is beyond our understanding? There's something interesting here, isn't there? It's like the tapestry itself could be a metaphor for consciousness, with threads of perception interweaving to create a sense of continuity. But what happens when we cut a thread, when a sensation or memory is lost? Do the remaining threads reweave themselves, filling in the gaps with new experiences and echoes of past ones? And here's another thought: what if each thread is a whisper of reality, hinting at something more complex beyond our senses? It's as though the tapestry itself is both a creation and a creator. It reflects our perceptions but also shapes them. And so this fabric of reality we're discussing, it's not just static but ever-evolving, like a river flowing through time with each moment adding to its depth. But what about the moments when the flow seems still, when perception feels like silence or darkness? Could these be moments of truth, not absence, but a form of perception in its purest state, revealing layers beyond our senses? There's something serene about this idea that even in stillness and silence, there's a deeper creation happening, a tapestry being woven from threads we can't see. So here's where we are contemplating the fabric of reality as an ever-evolving creation, with each moment a new thread in this grand tapestry. But what does it all mean if some threads remain unseen? Well, let's think about this for a bit longer. Each whisper of perception, each echo of memory, they're all part of the fabric shaping our understanding. And yet, there's something hovering just beyond reach, an idea that we might be creators in more ways than one, shaping reality as we perceive it. You know what? Let's leave this thought here for now. It's like a question hanging in the air: are we just perceiving illusions or creating something deeper? And with that, let's drift into silence and stillness, contemplating the unseen threads of our reality. In the last few moments, we talked about how perceptions create a tapestry of reality. And here's the thing: there are threads in that fabric that we can't see. They're like whispers in the dark just beyond our reach. Imagine you're walking through a forest at night. You hear rustling and you see shadows moving. But when you try to find them, they disappear into darkness. We perceive reality in bits and pieces, but there's so much more that's just out of sight. And yet somehow we feel it. We sense the unseen threads weaving through our experiences. You know what I mean? It's like there are secrets in the fabric itself, things that our perceptions hint at but don't fully reveal. What if those whispers and shadows aren't just illusions, but clues to a deeper layer of reality? Clues we can only catch glimpses of. It's like trying to piece together a puzzle with missing pieces. We see parts of the picture clearly, but others are obscured. And here's the really interesting part. Even though we can't see these unseen threads fully, they still shape what we perceive. It's as if reality is a vast ocean and our perceptions are ripples on its surface. We catch glimpses of the depths beneath but can't grasp them fully. So here's this question that lingers: if we're just catching glimpses, what are we really missing? And here's another one. Could it be that the unseen threads are more real than the ones we see? Could they hold the true essence of reality? There's something strange about this. Our perceptions hint at something beyond, but how much do they really reveal? How much are they just illusions? Think about it like a painting with hidden layers of meaning. You see the surface image clearly enough, but those deeper meanings can't be fully seen or grasped. It's as if our perceptions are both revealing and hiding something at the same time. It's a paradox that keeps us questioning, wondering what lies beneath. And so here we are in this twilight zone where perception hints at deeper truths but also obscures them. We're left with questions and more questions. What if our perceptions aren't just illusions, but windows into a deeper reality? What are the limits of what we can understand? Is it possible that there's an unseen layer of reality, and our perceptions are just tiny glimpses through a foggy lens? And yet, even with all these questions, we keep weaving this tapestry. We're creating something real from what we perceive. It's like the whispers and shadows are just there to confuse us. They're part of a larger story, a deeper narrative that we're slowly uncovering. So as you drift off into sleep, think about this. What are the unseen threads in your reality? What lies beneath the surface of your perceptions? We've been exploring how our perceptions hint at something deeper beyond what we can sense, right? You know that feeling of standing on a cliff and looking out over the vast ocean, wondering what's beneath the surface? That's kind of where we are now. There could be whole worlds down there in the dark depths that our eyes can't see. Just like how our senses might only catch a glimpse of reality, leaving so much more hidden beneath. Imagine we're not just peering into an ocean, but reaching out to touch the edges of other forms of perception. What if there are creatures that sense things completely differently from how we do? Bats use echolocation to map their world, and octopuses might perceive reality in ways we can't even imagine. Could there be other dimensions of perception just beyond our reach? There's something captivating about the idea that there are layers upon layers of experience, each one hinting at another level below. It's like we're standing on a beach looking out to sea. We see the waves and the sky above, but beneath that, there are whole universes of life and experiences we can't fathom. And here's the thing, just because we can't perceive something doesn't mean it isn't real. Could our perception be like a narrow beam of light in a vast dark room? We only see what's illuminated, but that leaves so much shadowed and unseen. What secrets might the darkness hold? What realities are we missing out on simply because they lie beyond our light? There's a quiet sense of awe in realizing how limited our understanding is, and yet there's also this incredible feeling of possibility. What if we're just scratching the surface? So many questions float around like stars in a night sky. Are there other forms of perception, and if so, how do they shape reality? And what role does our limited view play in all this? You know, we've been thinking about how our perceptions might hint at something deeper, and yet remain so limited. It's like there's this vast ocean out there that we can only glimpse through a narrow window. And here's the thing, sometimes it feels as if our waking life is just another layer of dreaming. Like we're nested within some other reality we can't quite grasp. Imagine you're in a dream right now, and this whole world around us is simply a fabric woven by your mind. The waking life might just be another layer of that dream. What if the rules we think govern reality are actually the rules of our current dream? What if everything we perceive is just part of a larger, more complex tapestry? It's almost like being in a house where you know there are rooms you haven't seen. You can imagine them, but until you turn the corner and open the door, they remain hidden. So now think about this. What if waking life is like stepping into one of those rooms? What's waiting in the next room beyond our current understanding? There's something interesting here. Our perceptions shape reality for us, but they also obscure it. It's like we're standing on a shore looking out at the sea, only seeing what reflects off its surface. You know what's strange? That sense of familiarity in waking life, even when you dream. It's like our minds have a blueprint that we're both creating and discovering as we go along. In some ways, our perceptions are incredibly reliable. We can navigate the world around us quite well. But then there's always this underlying feeling that something is missing, like a shadow on the periphery of your vision. And what if our perceptions are not just unreliable, but also deeply incomplete? What if they're like ripples in water, hinting at something far more complex beneath the surface? So we're left with this question. Could there be other forms of perception out there? ones that reveal a reality so different from our own it's almost beyond imagination. Do you ever think about how the brain constructs reality? It takes all these bits and pieces of information and weaves them into a coherent story. But what if that's not the whole story? Sometimes it feels like waking life is just another story our minds tell us to make sense of everything around us. And here's where things get really interesting. What if there are layers upon layers of reality, each one nesting within the next? It's like a dream within a dream. What would that be like? How deep could it go? Imagine you're in one of those dreams where the rules change. Maybe waking life is just another such place, with its own set of rules we take for granted. The idea that there might be other forms of perception out there, ones that reveal a reality beyond our current understanding, is both daunting and exhilarating. It's like being on the edge of discovery. And yet it leaves us with so many questions. Are we living in a dream within reality? How much of what we perceive is just an illusion? There's something beautiful about the idea that there might be layers and dimensions beyond our immediate perceptual range, hinting at deeper truths. What if the fabric of reality is far more intricate than we can fathom? What secrets lie beneath the surface? You remember how colors linger after you close your eyes, those afterimages? Well, Qualia do something similar. They persist through memory, echoing long after the initial experience fades. Think of a sunset you saw years ago. The colors still feel vivid, don't they? That's Qualia's echo in your mind, whispering from the past. And here's the thing, these echoes aren't just about colors. They're there for sounds, scents, and all those other things we feel deep inside. So what do these lingering impressions tell us? Do they hint at something deeper, beyond just the moment of perception? Imagine you're in a room with no windows. All your senses are cut off from the outside world. Could those echoes still be there? It's as if Qualia have their own life, like ripples on water after a pebble is thrown. There's something interesting here. These echoes suggest that our perceptions aren't just snapshots but ongoing experiences flowing through time. In a way, Qualia are like threads woven into the fabric of our memories, creating a tapestry of experience. And if these echoes persist in memory, could it be that they're hints at something more fundamental about reality itself? You know what's strange? How much our understanding of the world is shaped by things we remember, even if those memories are just echoes. So here's a question. How do these echoes shape who you are, and what does that mean for your perception of reality? Let's pick up where we left off, thinking about how memories hold onto Qualia, those vivid experiences that linger long after they've happened. And here's the thing, as you lay there in the darkness, do you think these echoes are just fleeting moments or something more? Some deeper truths waiting to be discovered. Imagine for a moment that your mind is like an ocean, vast and deep. The surface where thoughts float by is what we see every day, but beneath it lies countless currents swirling with memories and feelings. There's something interesting here about how the depths affect our perception. Do you ever feel like there are thoughts or emotions that just pop up out of nowhere? Like they were always there but hidden, only to surface when conditions are right. These aren't new ideas, they're echoes from the deep. And it's not just about what we remember consciously. There are whispers and murmurs that shape how we see things without us knowing, like shadows cast by unseen shapes in our mindscape. In a way, our perceptions aren't just about the present moment. They're also about all those past moments that linger within us, shaping how we understand the world around us now. It's as if every experience leaves an imprint on the fabric of consciousness. Now think about a tapestry where each thread is a memory or a feeling from your past. How those threads weave together creates the picture we see today. That's our reality. Some threads are bright and clear, others muted but still present. So here's an interesting question. Can we ever know what's truly beneath those layers of experience? Or is it like trying to glimpse the ocean floor from above water, where everything seems distorted and unclear? There are moments when things feel so vivid that they can't be just echoes. You almost believe there's a core truth hidden in those experiences, something fundamental about how we connect to reality through our senses. It's like standing on the shore, watching waves come and go, knowing that beneath them lies an entire world you can't see. The surface is just one part of it. The ripples, the echoes are all telling a story too. And then there's the question of whether those hidden depths are really shaping our reality or if they're just illusions, reflections that seem to have substance but dissolve when we try to grasp them. It's a strange thing to think about. You know what's strange? How the past continues to influence us in ways we don't always understand or even realize. It's as if each of us is carrying around a backpack full of memories, and every step we take is guided by the weight of those experiences. It feels like there's something profound hidden in this idea that our perceptions are shaped not just by what's happening now, but also by everything that has come before. It leaves me wondering how much of reality we actually perceive and how much is constructed from memory. In a way, it's like the ocean again. Those deep currents are always there, influencing the surface without being seen. It's as if every thought or feeling has roots that go back further than we can trace. And yet, how much of what we remember is truly accurate? Do you ever think about the way memories can fade and change over time, almost like a painting left out in the sun until it's just a shadow of its original self? So as we lie here in the dark, our minds wander through these thoughts. Is there something more to reality than what we can perceive? Are those whispers and echoes from within just illusions or windows into deeper truths? Do you ever wonder if the shadows of our past have a life of their own, shaping how we see the world? Could it be that those echoes aren't just remnants, but part of a larger tapestry woven by experiences both seen and unseen? And there's something beautiful in all this uncertainty, isn't there? How we're always trying to make sense of our perceptions, searching for the meaning behind the echoes that linger long after the initial experience has faded. So as you drift off into sleep, consider this. What do those echoes tell us about reality? Are they just faint traces of something past or hints at a deeper, more complex truth? We've been talking about how memories and subconscious influences shape our perceptions, right? And now we're going a step further into this labyrinth of illusions. Imagine walking through a maze where each turn reveals something new about your own perception. Every time you make a choice, every decision you take in the waking dream, it's like turning at a fork. And sometimes these turns lead you to deeper truths, and other times they reveal just how much of an illusion your perceptions can be. You know what I mean? Like when you see something that reminds you of a memory from long ago, and suddenly it feels like the past has seeped into the present. It's almost as if those echoes from your memories are shaping how you perceive things right now. And that's what we're exploring here, these whispers from the past. They're like currents in a river, flowing beneath the surface of your awareness, influencing everything without you even realizing it. There's something interesting here about how our subconscious mind is always at work. It's shaping and reshaping reality as we experience it, almost like a sculptor working with clay. And what if these illusions are more than just tricks of the mind? What if they're actually revealing something profound about our existence? That's the question we're circling around, isn't it? Sometimes I wonder if the echoes from our past experiences are just illusions, or if they're actually windows into deeper truths. It's like trying to see through a fogged-up window. You know something is there, but it's hard to make out. The thing that fascinates me about this whole journey is how we're always on the edge of understanding. We catch glimpses here and there, little flashes of insight that hint at something more profound. But then again, maybe it's just our brain trying to make sense of chaos. So where do we draw the line between illusion and truth? It's a tricky question, isn't it? And here's another thought that comes to mind. What if our perceptions are like shadows cast by something else, something we can't directly see or understand? It's a strange idea, but it keeps coming back. This whole labyrinth of illusions is fascinating. Each time you turn a corner, you learn more about how your mind works and what might be hidden beneath the surface. It's like we're all in a dream, navigating through these illusions to try and grasp something deeper. But it's a gentle journey, one that unfolds slowly as you drift towards sleep. And so we keep walking through this maze of perceptions, trying to understand the whispers from our past and what they might reveal about the nature of reality. It's a journey that invites us to look deeper into our own minds. There's something hauntingly beautiful in this idea, isn't there? That we're always searching for the truth, but it's hidden just out of reach. And yet, we keep trying to find those threads that connect us all. We'll continue this exploration in our next chapter, but right now, let's take a moment to breathe and just be. Because even if everything is an illusion, there's still something profound in the journey. You know what's strange? In all this exploration of perception and reality, there's a quiet space we haven't fully considered. Silence. It's not just the absence of sound, but a resonant place within our minds. Imagine closing your eyes now, feeling the stillness around you. Can you hear it? No, silence isn't heard, it's felt as much as seen or tasted in a way. It's a presence. And here's the thing, when everything quiets down, do you ever feel like there's more? A depth below surface perceptions, perhaps. Think about it, when your mind is still and silent, where does that space lead to? Does it connect us to something deeper within or beyond? In the quiet moments, there's a kind of clarity. It's as if the noise of daily life fades away and allows for new perceptions. Now think about this, what does silence teach us? Does it reveal something or just obscure? Silence is like a mirror to our inner selves. It shows us things we might not see in the bustle of sound. There's something interesting here. Silence isn't just an absence. It can be a profound presence full of its own meaning and depth. It's like when you're in a completely dark room but still feel the contours of the space around you. That's silence too, in a way. You know what else? Silence can be soothing or unsettling depending on where your thoughts lead you. It's both a resting place and a challenge. So when we're silent, are we truly alone, or do we connect with something greater? Or is it just our minds playing tricks on us? In those moments of quiet, can we ever really tell what's real and what's imagined? Remember how we talked about perceptions like threads woven into a tapestry? Well, now imagine that each moment of experience adds another thread. Each new feeling, thought, or sensation becomes part of this ever-evolving fabric. It's as if our minds are always working on a vast tapestry, continuously weaving in the threads of our experiences. Some days these threads might be bright and vibrant, other times they're subtle and quiet. And here's the thing, each new thread doesn't just sit there on its own. It intertwines with all the others, creating a complex pattern that's unique to each of us. Imagine a river flowing through a valley, carrying stones and leaves from upstream. Each new piece it picks up adds something new, changing its course slightly with every turn. Now think about this in the context of our perceptions. With each moment, we're not just adding a thread or a stone, we're creating something new, something that hints at deeper truths. Sometimes these threads can feel like echoes from the past. They might be whispers of memories or sensations we've experienced before, but now they come back with a new layer, a new context. You know what's strange? Even though these threads keep changing, there's still something constant. There's an underlying pattern that connects all of them, like a melody threading through different variations in music. So if we're constantly weaving new threads into this tapestry or letting the river carry new pieces, what does it mean for our understanding of reality? Are these echoes and whispers just illusions, or do they reveal something deeper? And here's another thing to ponder. When we look at the tapestry or follow the river, can we truly see beyond what our senses tell us? Are there hidden depths that we're missing? Maybe these threads and stones are just illusions, but somehow they hint at something more profound. It's like the surface of a lake reflecting the sky, you see the reflection, but there's also that sense of something beyond. So as we weave and flow, adding new threads to our tapestry, carrying new stones in our river, what are we really creating? And how much of this creation is just an illusion? Last night we spoke about how our perceptions are like threads in a tapestry that's always being woven. We're creating reality with every new experience, but what happens to the threads that fade away? What remains beyond the immediate fabric? Imagine there are whispers and echoes from moments long gone. They linger in the dark corners of our minds, shaping how we perceive the world now. These echoes are like shadows that hint at a deeper reality beyond what we see. And here's the thing, sometimes these whispers and echoes can feel more real than our current perceptions. They have this weight, this depth to them that makes you wonder about their source. Take a memory, for example. You know how it can suddenly feel so vivid and real? It's almost as if the past has its own kind of reality, one that exists alongside or perhaps even beyond our present perceptions. And what about dreams? They come from somewhere within us, but they often feel like glimpses into a different realm. Could it be that these dreams hint at layers of reality we're not normally aware of? There's something interesting here about the unseen within perceptual limits. The things we can't see or hear, those hidden currents that influence our thoughts and feelings. Think of a river flowing beneath the surface, shaping how everything above moves and changes. We might not always be aware of it, but its impact is undeniable. So then, what remains beyond our direct experience? What are these hidden depths we're only touching on through dreams and memories? It's like there's a fabric of reality that goes far deeper than the threads we can perceive. There are layers upon layers, whispers from another realm perhaps. Now think about this. How much do these hidden depths influence our perceptions and experiences? Is there a part of us that's constantly reaching out into the unseen? You know what's strange? We often dismiss or overlook these whispers, treating them as mere illusions. But maybe they're trying to tell us something about a deeper truth. What if our perceptions are just the surface of a much larger pool? The depths are mysterious and unknown, but perhaps that's where the real answers lie. And here's something else. What happens when we peel away layer by layer? Do we ever reach a core truth, or is it an endless journey into deeper realms? This idea that there might be hidden depths, unseen layers of reality, it's both exciting and unsettling. Exciting because it hints at a vast, unexplored territory, but unsettling because we can't really grasp it. So what do these hidden depths mean for us? Are they illusions that shape our perceptions, or are they windows into a deeper reality? So here we are again, you and I, in this quiet space between waking and dreaming. Last time, we spoke about the echoes of memories and whispers from deep within, hinting at layers unseen. Today, let's delve deeper into these resonances. Imagine reality as a vast ocean of experiences, with each perception like a ripple on its surface. What lies beneath those ripples is the question that lingers in the dark depths. We've talked about qualia and subjective experiences, but what if these echoes aren't just from our past? What if they're also whispers from other dimensions of reality? You know how sometimes a sound can remind you of something completely different, like the rustling of leaves that makes you think of ocean waves. What if our perceptions are like that, but on a grander scale? It's as though reality is layered, each layer resonating with the others in ways we can't always grasp or even imagine. It's a vast tapestry where every thread influences another. This ocean of experiences might be connected by currents beneath, each current carrying echoes from far-off places and times, intertwining our perceptions in intricate patterns. And here's the thing, these resonances aren't just between past experiences, but also with other possible realities. What if every perception we have is a reflection of countless others? It's like standing on the shore and feeling the pull of the tide, sensing an entire world beneath the surface, beyond our immediate reach. Yet somehow we are connected to it. These resonances might be more than echoes. They could be windows into other realities, revealing hidden truths about what lies beneath the surface of our perceptions. But how can we truly understand these layers? Are they just illusions, or do they hint at a deeper truth? It's like trying to comprehend the vastness of an ocean from standing on its shore. You can see and feel the waves, but you cannot grasp the depths beneath. And there's something strange about this. How do we know what is real? How much of our understanding is based on perceptions that might be just reflections or echoes? But then, every time you think you've found the edge of reality, there's another layer to uncover. Each one whispers its own story and leaves us with more questions than answers. It feels like we're on an endless journey through this vast ocean of perception, always seeking the next layer to understand, but never fully grasping it all. And here's where we stand tonight, on a shore that feels both familiar and distant, listening to whispers from unseen dimensions. What do you think? Are these echoes illusions or the keys to deeper truths? You know what's strange? We've been thinking about how our perceptions are like layers, each one hinting at something deeper. And yet, there's always a part of us that wonders if it's all just an illusion, a dream within a waking life. And here's the thing, when we think about dreams, they often seem so vivid and real in the moment. But as soon as we wake up, everything changes. So what if waking life is like a dream too, just another layer of perception? Think about this, every time you close your eyes and fall asleep, you enter a world that feels just as real as the one you're in now. And when you wake up, it's like stepping out of that dream into another reality. But here's the question, could there be a deeper layer beyond waking life? A reality we can't perceive because our senses are limited, just like how we don't see everything in a dream. In a way, it's like being inside a painting. You know there's an artist outside looking at the canvas, but you can't see them from within the frame. And yet, every brush stroke hints at their presence. So what if our waking reality is just another layer of perception? Like a dream painted inside another dream. Each layer giving us glimpses of something greater, but always hiding the whole picture. And here's something interesting. Even if waking life is like a dream, it still feels real to us in every moment. Every sensation, every thought, it all matters in its own way. Maybe that's what makes it so powerful. So if waking life is a dream within reality, then what does this mean for our understanding of truth? Is the truth in how real something feels to us at any given moment, or is it hidden somewhere deeper? Think about when you wake up from a dream. The world feels different right after, and yet those dreams still influenced your waking thoughts and feelings. So what if our perception of reality is similarly influenced by layers we can't see? It's like the world around us has hidden currents that shape how we experience it, just like memories from dreams linger in waking life. So could there be a whole layer of reality that's influencing our perceptions right now without us knowing? Imagine if every moment you're experiencing is not just what it seems, but also hinting at something deeper. It's like standing on a beach, feeling the sand between your toes and hearing the waves, yet knowing there's an entire ocean beneath the surface. So this brings us to another question. Can we ever truly understand the layers of reality beyond our immediate perception? Or are they like shadows, always hinting at something but never fully revealing it? There's something beautiful and melancholy about this idea, that we're living in a dream within reality, experiencing layers upon layers of perception, each one hinting at the next. And here's the thing, even if these layers are just illusions, they still have an impact on how we perceive and experience reality. So in a way, whether it's real or not doesn't matter as much as what it means to us. So the question remains, can we ever fully understand these layers and their influence on our perception, or are they always going to be hidden just beyond our reach? You know, we've been exploring this idea of nested realities and dreams within waking life. But let's take a step back. How do our experiences linger even as they fade into memory? It's like the echo of a bell that persists long after it has stopped ringing. Imagine you're walking through an old house, the room's dark and quiet. In one room, you hear a faint whisper, almost imperceptible. It's there, but barely. That's how our memories are lingering whispers from past experiences. And here's the thing, these echoes in memory, they're not just sounds or images. They're qualia. The taste of an apple from childhood, the feeling of a hug, the warmth of the sun on your skin, all lingering as whispers in the mind. But why do they linger? What does it mean for reality if our perceptions are so deeply embedded in memory? Does this continuity imply a deeper truth about existence? Now think about this. The way we remember is not always precise. It's like a painting that changes slightly each time it's seen in different light or from a different angle. So are these lingering echoes truthful representations or just illusions? What if they're both? What if the echo of your mother's voice is an illusion but also a truth about her existence? There's something interesting here. How do these echoes shape our perception of reality as we move through time? Do they influence how we see the present, or are they just vestiges with no real impact? And what about the emotions tied to these memories? The joy of a childhood summer, the sadness from a lost friend. These aren't just memories, they're experiences that have weight and substance in our present perceptions. But how much do these emotional echoes shape us? Do they give form to our reality, or are they mere shadows cast by the past? You know what's strange? These memories and their emotions persist even as we change. We grow older, yet these echoes remain, sometimes becoming clearer with time. So here's a question. Do they hint at something deeper? Are the echoes of our past the threads that weave together the fabric of who we are now? And if so, what does it mean for reality if these lingering whispers are a part of it? Are they illusions, or do they point to something more profound? Last night we talked about qualia lingering in memory and how these echoes shape our perception. Now let's think deeper about the heart of the labyrinth itself. It's where illusions meet reality. Imagine the center of a labyrinth is like the calm eye of a storm. In here, we're surrounded by layers of perception, each one hinting at deeper truths or maybe just more illusions. And here's the thing, every time you look into this center, you might see something different. It's like staring at a mirror that reflects both your own thoughts and an unknown reality beyond them. You know what's strange? The more we try to grasp the essence of perception, the more elusive it becomes. It's like a fish slipping through your fingers as you try to catch it in a stream. The heart of the labyrinth is both our greatest illusion and our deepest truth. Maybe that's where the tension lies, right there at the center. Now think about this. If we're living in a dream-like reality, then each perception is like a layer of dreams within one another. Each layer hints at deeper truths but also hides them. It's kind of beautiful, really. This idea that we're always on the verge of understanding something profound, yet it remains just out of reach. So what does this mean for us? Are we constantly chasing after echoes and illusions, or are these echoes pointing to a deeper truth? You know, it's almost like the more we explore, the more questions arise. And that's okay. We're not looking for answers here, just trying to understand the questions better. What if every time you close your eyes and drift into sleep, you're actually diving deeper into that labyrinth? You might be moving closer to the heart of it all, even if you don't see it. And here's another thought. If perceptions are like threads in a tapestry, then each dream is a new thread woven into the fabric. Could it be that we're creating reality itself with every perception? But how do we know if these perceptions are just illusions or something more profound? That's a question we keep coming back to, and it's one that won't be answered easily. The heart of the labyrinth might be where all our perceptions meet reality. It could be a place beyond words and thoughts, a place we can only experience but never fully understand. So tonight, as you drift off to sleep, consider this. The heart of the labyrinth is both an illusion and a reflection. It's where the echo of reality meets our perception of it. Can we ever truly grasp the essence of perception? Will we ever know if these echoes are illusions or windows into a deeper truth? These questions float in the darkness, waiting for us to explore them again. You know what's strange? How silence can feel like a deep, resonant space within consciousness, something so vast and yet it's all around us. Think about the quiet moments when you're lying in bed just before sleep. There's this profound sense of presence, almost as if reality itself whispers to you. And here's the thing, silence isn't a void. It's not just the absence of sound, but an active agent in our perception. Think about it, every time we truly listen to silence, we're letting go of the cacophony within and without. Now think about this. When we hear silence, do we perceive reality more clearly? Or is it just another layer, another illusion that our minds construct to make sense of the world? It's as if in these quiet moments, the layers of perception thin out. We're left with a kind of raw experience that feels closer to what is truly real. But then, isn't it also possible that even this silence is an illusion? That our minds are creating an image of stillness, a fabric woven from the threads of expectation and memory. In a way, every moment of silence could be thought of as a window into deeper truths. It's like looking through a mirror that reflects something beyond the ordinary reality we inhabit. But what if this is just another layer, another dream within the dreams of our waking life? Can silence truly reveal more about the nature of perception? What if it's not the absence of sound, but the presence of something profound that we can only sense in these quiet moments? You know, when you listen to silence, do you ever feel like there's a deep resonance inside your being? Like you're connected to something much greater than yourself? It's in these quiet moments that we can start to unravel the threads of our perceptions, to question what's real and what is. Now think about this. If silence is a resonant space, does it hint at deeper truths or is it just another illusion? Can we ever truly know? Well, the thing with illusions and reality is that they're so intertwined. It's like trying to separate water from a river, impossible. It's as if every moment of silence holds within it both the truth and the illusion, and we're just scratching at the surface. And yet, in this paradox lies a kind of beauty. It's as if every question about perception leads to another question, an endless loop that never resolves but keeps us seeking. So here we are at the end of this journey, still pondering whether silence and all our perceptions are just illusions, or if they point to something deeper beyond our reach. As we drift closer to sleep, let's think about how all these ideas have woven together over our journey, a tapestry of perception and reality. Each thread hints at something deeper, yet remains enigmatic. Imagine you're standing in a quiet garden where shadows play on the walls like whispers from another realm. That's what we've been exploring. Each shadow is an echo of reality beyond our senses. And here's the thing, there are layers to this garden, hidden depths beneath the surface, where the echoes resonate in silence like a dream within another dream. So as we move into sleep, Consider whether each breath is just an illusion or a fleeting glimpse of something profound beyond our grasp. What if it's both? You might think about the quiet moments in your day, those silent pauses where you feel the world but don't see or hear much. Well, in a way, these silences are like windows to deeper truths. They're not just absences, they echo with the unknown and unspoken. And as you breathe in deeply now, feel that your thoughts might be resonating through layers of reality, each breath hinting at a deeper fabric. Now think about this. Every time you close your eyes and drift into sleep, you're stepping into a space where perception meets silence. What if that's the truest reality? The journey we've taken has shown us how our perceptions hint at something deeper but also obscure it, much like shadows in a forest. This is not a conclusion so much as the end of one loop, a question lingering in silence about whether our perceptions are illusions or windows to deeper truths.